So I don't know how this keeps happening, but it seems like we have now unlocked a new character in the TikTok world. Like, genuinely, when I'm making these videos, I feel like I'm playing a video game, you know? Like, the further I go, the more I level up, I unlock some new characters. Literally, just in the last video, we unlocked some characters from the cruise ship. Not to mention all the other characters we've unlocked previously, you know, the TikTok mortician, the TikTok sidekick, the pink sauce lady. And with that being said, it seems like we have leveled up yet again, because we have now just unlocked the Tunnel Girl. I'll be honest, the nicknames do need to get a little bit more creative, but this is what she has been dubbed on TikTok, and honestly, these videos have went mega viral recently. Now, I do actually have to give credit to a YouTuber called Ammy because I actually came across her video recently, taking a look at the Tunnel Girl, and yeah, I would love to say I was shocked, but it's TikTok, so I really wasn't. This seems like something that would happen on this app. But yeah, like I mentioned, credit goes to her. Great video. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. But either way, Tunnel Girl actually goes by the name of Engineer.everything over on TikTok, also known as Carla, I think it's pronounced. And I've got to say, she's a very fascinating character. What she does in these videos is actually very impressive. Well, as I was watching through this, I thought, you know what, I wish I could do stuff like this. The problem being is that it's probably not legal, which, you know, is a bit of an issue. But let me give you some context as to the type of videos that Carla uploads, and then we'll watch for a few of them, and we'll talk about why this is kind of all went wrong recently. But Carla is in the process of making a storm shelter underneath her home. And by that, I mean she has dug a 10-foot tunnel underneath her home that leads to a 10-foot by 6-foot room and is currently excavating an antechamber off of that. In fact, her pinned video actually shows a 1-year recap of the tunnel itself, but it's worth bearing in mind that this is actually a few months ago, so the tunnel's actually bigger at this point.
It's just been over a year since I started building my underground tunnel system. This is a 1-year recap. In August of 22, I cut an opening off the side of the sub-basement.
And here's the thing, right? For the most part, she's doing this all herself. So that's what I mean. It's actually very impressive. I mean, realistically, I'd have no idea where to start doing this.
One of the forms failed, and the concrete bulge needed to be removed, which is affectionately called the elephant's foot. There is still a lot of work left to do, but I am having a blast and enjoying sharing this project with you.
But yeah, anyways, you get the point. It's going viral because she's built this tunnel, people are just amazed that she's doing this all by herself, and she actually doesn't really have any qualifications to do stuff like this. She works in IT, apparently, which is very different to building a tunnel underneath your house. So even though that almost makes it more impressive that she was able to build this big tunnel under a house and show the process and doing most of it herself, it also does make it a lot less safe. A few possible problems that could be caused by this is if she causes a sinkhole to her own home or damages anything underneath anyone else's home. There's obviously also the possibility of carbon monoxide poisoning as well. She does wear a mask here and there in the videos, not really that often. And it's also not just the digging part of it that could be a problem, like causing a sinkhole or whatnot, right? She also does a lot of like electrical work and plumbing work, which yet again isn't her profession. And even though she says that this is all underneath her home, to the best of my knowledge, that still doesn't mean that you can just do that without a permit. And in fact, it definitely seems that way because she has now been told to stop doing this, which we will get to later in the video. And I mean, just to give you an example of a problem that could happen here is that she has actually uploaded a video showing that the tunnel almost caught on fire. In fact, it did, but she put it out before it got too big. Of course, got the phone first, you know, to show it.
I've come to know a new drawback using fiberglass rebar. Apologize for the poor camera work. This is my first time using a fire extinguisher, and I'm a bit in a panic.
Yeah, I mean, can't be that much in a panic if you did get your camera, it's gotta be said. But yeah, you can see why people might be a bit worried, and I think no one's gonna be more worried than her neighbours with stuff like this happening just down the road. Because it's not like she just lives completely in the middle of nowhere, right? She lives in, like, a normal estate with neighbours right next to her. You can see why this would be a problem. And in fact, it seems that the neighbours didn't actually know that this was going on. They would just hear loud noises all the time, but not really know the extent of what was happening. They probably just thought it was like housing work that seemed to be going on for a very long time. And as you can imagine, when they found out what it was, you know, a tunnel, they were worried.
They're really worried about their health and their safety. They talk to me about noise, like tremendous noise, essentially noise pollution, and shaking, like just random shaking in the ground that they didn't realize where it was coming from.
I mean, can you imagine finding out that that's what your neighbour's been up to this whole time? In fact, there's actually a lot of work going on with a house near me that is like going under construction or whatnot, so it is quite noisy where it is here, but I would still be very surprised to find out if it was a fucking tunnel going like 20 feet underground. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tunnel Lady is my neighbour. I mean, that would be a twist in the story, wouldn't it? But anyways, to give some context to the video we're watching right here, this is actually by an investigative journalist called Ara Bagado, who actually reached out to a bunch of the neighbours to see what their thoughts were on this situation.
Several neighbors expressed to me that they were worried about reporting anything because they don't want to get entangled with immigration authorities and they don't want to be deported. So those are some of the stakes for the neighbors here.
Which, by the way, if that is the reason, that's really fucking shit, right? You shouldn't have to be putting up with stupid noise and the ground shaking all the time because a neighbour's decided to dig a tunnel for no reason. Again, very impressive, right? The fact that she was able to do this, very impressive, but I mean, it's a bit selfish. And also probably worse than the fact that it's a bit selfish. Quite dangerous too, you know, it could go very wrong, especially if it's not your profession.
At least one person that I've been in touch with has complained to local officials, and as of now, from what we know, this tunnel project is at least temporarily shut down.
So yeah, as you just heard us say, the project is being shut down. This is actually true, but this video came out a long time before Carla actually announced that the project had stopped. In fact, she carried on uploading videos saying that she was doing works at the house. I imagine they were obviously pre-recorded, and people just kept asking like, oh, is the project having to stop? Like, are you actually going through problems here? And it seemed like she was just kind of like ignoring it, you know, didn't want to really address it. I guess because if she addresses it, then that confirms all the worries that people had this whole time, and she was kind of just brushing to the side that this could be dangerous and it could be illegal. But it wasn't until a bunch of like mainstream news outlets started picking this up and found out exactly what happened, and then she basically confirmed it.
And it's a reason why I think that this project and the noise pollution and the residential fires and the silica dust and sort of all of the other inherent risks and hazards has gone on unpermitted for as long as it has. And those power dynamics are then reified when other white content creators on this platform rush to protect and defend Kayla without considering exactly who her neighbors might be.
I mean, that's a good point, right? If this is what's happened, if the neighbours have heard this noise and the shaking and whatnot, but they were scared to report it in case something could happen with them maybe potentially being deported or whatnot, like, that is a ridiculously unfair situation. And that's not to say that Carla is doing this because she knows who her neighbours are and they wouldn't complain. I'm not saying that at all. But it does seem like Carla should have maybe been a bit more selfless in this scenario and tried to think more of her neighbours and what the consequences could be for what she's doing and the problems that it could cause and how dangerous it could potentially be. It seems like she's maybe brushed past that quite a lot. But yeah, like I mentioned before, a bunch of the mainstream news outlets have actually picked up this story and they've started posting articles about Tunnel Lady, if you will, Carla. And they have said, in response to the tunnel digging, Fox 5 received an email from the town of... And a spokesperson said the town received notice of activity of potential violation of the Uniform Statewide Building Code that was occurring at a residential property within the town's corporate limits. As is standard protocol following such notifications, representatives from the building's officials and zoning administrator's office conducted a site inspection on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. So yeah, this is what I was saying before, that is clearly a situation that's kind of been going on for a little while now. This inspection was on December 7th, 2023, and only just addressed it like literally within the last week or so. In fact, 4 days ago, as I'm recording this video, actually throughout the month of December, she carried on uploading the videos. The town is working with the property owner to correct any violations and ensure that the property is safe and in compliance with the code, an email to Fox 5 read. Now, I'm not exactly sure how long something like this takes, you know, I've never really had to deal with complaints about me building a tunnel underneath my house, but it has been over a month now, and clearly she still isn't able to continue the project because she hasn't been uploading the videos. But she did upload a video just a few days ago kind of addressing it, where she does like this like really like interesting skit.
Good morning. I need a moment to pull over. Just give me a second.
I mean, I've got to say, already she's put more effort into this TikTok than most TikTokers. And also, it just became very clear how she affords all the equipment to build this tunnel, because she has a Tesla. Her job is probably pretty good. Hello, mate. Do you want to build a tunnel? Eh? We could build a tunnel right now. Actually, I would not trust him in a fucking tunnel, to be honest. He would get lost.
That's what they said. They're from the city.
Right, okay, I'm gonna skip past, like, the skit, right? It's very, interesting acting, but she gets to a point where she, like, reenacts how the conversation went with the people who came for the investigation, and this is what she shows.
Hello.
Good morning, how you doing?
Good morning.
I don't know if you remember me. I'm Jack Smith.
Yes.
Down at Bayport, building official. This is Jimmy Jones with the zoning department and Brian with inspections.
What can I do for you?
We have some complaints. Basically, there's some construction going on. And we were just here, basically, to find out if there is and see what needs to be done.
What kind of construction?
Basically, they said it's excavation. That you're pulling stuff out of the basement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if by a little bit you mean digging a 20-foot tunnel under your house, then yeah, I guess just a little bit.
So they did give me a stop work order and are requiring an immediate evaluation by a professional engineer. Fortunately, contrary to few rumors here, it is constructed entirely below the slab of my house, and it shouldn't be too hard to get the permits and approval. So we'll be working on that.
Yeah, but the thing I just don't understand is, why did you not try and get the permits before starting? Because this was obviously always going to happen, especially when you're putting it online for fucking millions of people to see. And I mean, I'm not going to try and sit here and pretend that I know the ins and outs of getting a permit to do something like this underneath your home, but I can't imagine it's just as straightforward as just making it seem in this video. But what do I know? Maybe it is. I think they will definitely have something to say with the fact that she's doing it herself as well. I think they would want, like, professionals to come round, and yeah, I get it, right? She's doing a good job. Very talented, clearly, but it's also not her profession. She's not qualified to do it. I mean, it's a very interesting situation, right? Quite a unique one, to say the least. I would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. Yeah, I just wouldn't be surprised by any story we hear on TikTok now. And yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like down below. Maybe we'll get a part 2 in the future if we get some more updates. I don't know. And yeah, subscribe, all that stuff. And until next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, goodbye.